is a brother-in-law story. That was a brother to his wife. So this book, if you feel like you want, because he shared detail, too much detail, in fact, it inspires you to wake up and start looking for more money. So if you want to know what the book title is, it was an audio book. When I buy these audio books these days. I don't buy. Can you see my books? I used to buy a lot of physical books, but now I buy audio. Audio is easier to just download and start listening. So it's an audio book. If you want to specifically know the title, I'm not promoting. I'm just mentioning. Later, if you will hear me tell the story and say you want to read the book, put in a comment and say, what was that book you talked about? I think it was We Need More Money. I would give you the real name and the author of the book. So he told 2 stories, which were powerful. He said, right now myself, I have a video I recorded here where I said we need more money and shared my own story. It has over 50,000 views. For me, 50,000 views is a lot on my channel. And I did that when I just started this channel. It didn't have even 5,000 subscribers at that time. So it was a popular video. He shared 2 stories. I'll share. One is sad. No. One is inspiring, good. The other one is sad. I'll start with the good one. Normally would have started with a good one, but a bad one to end with a good one. But I'm starting with a bad one, because the good one, and end with the bad one, because I want to inspire you to wake up and say, you know what, this could happen to me. Okay, welcome. I don't see you, Kalibala. Are here? Please type in the chat. I want to know that I can see you. I want to be able to see that you are active. Okay. Okay, right. Let me put on my own chat right here. So here is the story. It's going to be short. Don't worry. 2 stories. This person who wrote the book, he calls it We Need More Money, something like that, the title. He told us his own story that he was running a business, right? He has his wife, a very loving story. He goes into details of how he met his wife and all this. They're living good. They have children. And he was having this business. So the business was doing well, but then at some point it was not doing well. So he didn't have much money. Money left. So one time he came home. Okay, it's good to see that you are there. When you are not there, let me know. He came home. It was the weekend, and they were talking about their bills. There are some bills that needed to be paid. You know about those discussions when you need some money. The wife is talking to the husband, and the man said, no money. He didn't have money, and it was a weekend. So, and these were very good friends, like husband and wife, but very good friends. Those people who loved each other for a long time. So he tells the story that the wife looked at him, her husband, and said, tell me the truth. Okay, I'm not telling it like the way he says it, but it goes like that, similar. Tell me the truth. Did you pay your employees? And this man said, I couldn't lie to her. So I said, yes. He said, what? He said the woman changed. She ran off crying. He said, what? So your employees, your business is more important than your family. She was yelling. Oh my goodness, the man was so shocked to see his wife like that, and he felt very, very sad that what he had done, he didn't have enough money. So he chose to pay the employees, but he didn't leave money for the family. Now the wife interpreted it like, you care about the business more than you care about your family. It hurt the man so bad. So as I tell these stories, Herbert, please react to what I'm saying. What do you think about that? If you are the one and your wife is saying, so you care about the business more than you care about us. Okay, you paid the employees and you didn't leave anything for the family, like that. How do you feel? So the guy said the woman was crying so bad, was mad. He said, I couldn't even go to the bedroom. I think they were arguing toward the evening time. It was about time for bed. He said, I could not even go confront her. She was so mad, sad. So he decided to go sleep on the couch. He didn't go to the bedroom. But he said that that's a time when he said, that is, Jim Rohn says, many people talk about this topic when you say enough is enough. So this, for him, this was his moment. He said, enough is enough. I have to figure out a way to make more money to take care of my family. Yeah. So from that night, he tells the story of how he started going, the kind of business he was doing. I don't remember what it was, but he started putting signs on the roads, signs. He was going and putting signs. He started going to the people to look for more money. And a long story short, that man, by the time he's writing this book, he's a millionaire. He's a millionaire. The house, they're all happy and everything is good. So that's the end of that one. Now, the second story. So that shows you that we all have the potential to make more money, because he had done this business for a while and he could not make a profit. He was making losses and stuff. But once he decided that, you know what, something had to change, he did it. So when you get mad, you can actually do things, you could surprise yourself. So that's what happened. Sometimes when I'm live here, I have lights everywhere. It gets hot a little bit. So I'm going to put on my fan, but I'll cut it off at some point. It becomes too hot. The second story, he's the one telling it. That was years later. Now he had the money. Now everything good. So when he married his wife, that wife, right? The wife had a brother, and they were good buddies. Brother-in-law, right? Good vibes. Whenever they meet, they're good. They're playing games. They're joking. So they will meet family gatherings. So he tells the story that he started seeing that this brother is not as happy as he used to be. In fact, he had noticed. So then there came this day, I think it was like Thanksgiving. They all gathered, they're playing, but he noticed that this man, he's not excited anymore. And also he's losing weight. He's becoming smaller and smaller. He said, what's going on? So he talked to him about going to be checked. He said, maybe you need to be checked. You're not the same person. You're changing. You're losing weight. Guess what they found? They found, I don't remember what stage it was, but it was cancer for this brother-in-law. And this used to be a very gentleman. He had children. I don't remember how many they were. But if you listen to the whole story, this man is telling everything in detail, vividly. You could see the family. A very good family man, happy man. He's sick. Now, he says that he went to see him in the hospital. I'll finish it really quickly, don't worry. And then we'll get to our conversation. This is meant to get you thinking. So he goes to the hospital and says, how are you doing? He's here in bed. I said, okay, now let's talk about, what kind of insurance do you have? Because remember, when you're in the hospital, you need insurance to pay the bills, right? So the other one said, actually, I don't have any insurance. I said, what? For some people, not having insurance looks like, what? You don't have insurance? How are you going to pay these bills? It gets worse. So I said, okay, no insurance? No, okay. So if you don't have insurance, how much money do you have saved up? He said, actually, to tell you the truth, I don't have any money. You're not reacting. You're reacting? Okay, keep reacting to what I'm saying. So he said, okay, no insurance. Okay, he got over that shock. Then he said, okay, so what about how much do you have in savings? He said, actually, brother, no, I don't have any savings. In fact, he talked about the amount he had in the bank account, very, very little money in the bank account. He said, actually, I'm behind on rent 8 months. I've not paid rent for 8 months. So what? And they were living in, I think, in a townhouse. Okay, they had a few children and a wife. Okay, I mean, the family was like a family that would live in a house, not just like a small place. So this one was so shocked. He said, what? 8 months? Which landlord allowed you to be in a house for 8 months without paying them? He said, you see, he's a kind person. And I kept saying, I'll pay you. He was so kind to us. Yeah, we are behind 8 months. Wow. Guess what? The only good thing about that story is that this man, the brother-in-law, had figured out how to make money. Remember? If it had happened before, when he was struggling too, it would have been a bad story. So they took over, he talked to his wife, they decided to take care of the guy. They took care of the family. And they took care of him. Actually, it was a long time before he even died. He tells the story how one time he was in a meeting and his wife called and the brother-in-law had passed away. So they buried him. What was sad about that whole story is, can you imagine if you are sick in the hospital and you know there's no money, you are the one responsible to take care of your family, but there's no money at all. But then you are sick in the hospital. You didn't pay the rent. They are behind. You don't have anything. How are you feeling? You think about it. Because the family will be worried, dad is sick, and they loved him so much. He tells the story of when he died, and he went to the hospital, and the boy, I think it was the son, who fell on his daddy's body and refusing to leave him alone, but he was dead. So they loved him so much. But how are you feeling when you feel like you can't do it? You can't work, you can't do anything to change the situation. At least this other one could change the situation. That's why the title of this live, I said, make more money. Let's make more money. I said, what did I call it? Let's make, what was the title? Make money while you still can. Because this one, even if he wanted to make the money, he wouldn't have done it. Because this brother-in-law would have had so many ideas for him, but he was sick. See? Yeah, that's the story. So what do you get from that? Tell me, Motuba, Kalibala, what do you get from what I just shared there? You are a man. Assuming you have a wife and you have children, and now 8 months, you have not paid the rent. You don't even have money for food or anything. Now you're sick in the hospital. You can't pay the bills. How are you feeling? Give me one word. When you watch this later and hear that story I just told, please, for this man who died, put in a comment just one word or whatever, or sentence. How you think he was feeling? Because he was alive for some time. He didn't die immediately. And how was he feeling? When you know you can't take care of your children and your family, that's sad. You leave your people homeless. So let's go to my next point, which was the areas where we need to start thinking, okay? I don't know how old you are. Me, I'm just here talking to my computer. I'm talking to you like I see you, but actually I don't. It's just a computer here. Think about each area I'm about to mention and see how it could apply to your situation, okay? So, number one, this situation, or how can we make money while we can? So motivational, yeah, motivation to do what? I said, how did he feel when he was about to die and he knew he didn't leave a house for he was living dead actually, had not paid the rent for 8 months and his family is homeless. How do you feel? That's not motivational. Motivational now for you, but how did that man feel? Okay, so I'm talking about 5 situations. One is a person who is something about education, and then something about after education, who finished college, something about he started a family, something about retirement, and something about changes that happen. So number one is education. Oh, there's a storm outside. It's still a good, if you're just joining me, please type in the chat so I know who you are. I'm Sherifa Nakalema, Virginia, USA, and this is the live. And if you watch it later to be a replay, and I'm talking about we need to make money while you can. I just shared stories. If you came later, please watch it again in the beginning, because I shared sad stories and an inspirational one where someone became a millionaire because the wife was so mad. Okay, so this one, what I'm about to share now about education, especially in USA, but anyway, I did it myself. The way they do the education, in America, education is free. Okay, they say free, but not completely free, but free. You can send a child to school. You buy the books, you buy the clothing, because they don't have uniforms. You have to buy the clothing. You have to pay for lunch, stuff like that. But the real tuition is free. You don't pay for tuition. And the bus, if you live so close in the district, the bus will come and take your child. Only if you choose to go to school and you opt to drive. Some people, especially as they go higher, like middle school, high school, you may want something for your child, which I did for mine. and you have to drive them to the school because it's far, far away. They're not the bus cannot take them. Okay, all those options are there. But let's assume you are doing the basic. You're talking to your child to school. You don't pay school fees. It sounds, someone in another country will say, what? They don't pay school fees? Yes, they don't pay school fees, but it gets worse later. Because going to university is so expensive. So expensive, you have to count all the money you save. You better have it when they go to college. So that's a challenge. So what happens, for me, depressed. Yeah, very depressed. You could even die faster. I'm serious. So what happened, when I came here, I used to listen to Oprah a lot, and she used to bring on the lady, Susie Orman. When Susie Orman, I don't have her books are right here, Susie Orman. And they used to tell, not even just Susie Orman, other people, they would say that for you to be able to pay for university, for college, for your child, you need to start saving money as soon as they are born. I said, what? Yes. They said for you to have enough money to send your children to college, you're going to start saving money as soon as they are born. When I had that, my daughter, I think, was like 1 year around that time, or at least a year. When I was hearing this, I said, wow, that's what we have to do. It was, oh my goodness. They call them 529. There's so many plans. Do you know, could even pay for a university when the child is still a baby? You pay for a specific university. You say, my child is going to go to that one. So they tell you how much it will be at that time. You lock in, you start paying. Yeah. But for us, we chose the plan, the 529 is called, where it's also tricky because you could start saving the money and you could say that's for the child. So if we put in the child's name, they may refuse to go to college and still they have money. But we chose the option where if they didn't go to college, it becomes our money. It comes back to us, okay? So it's 529. We went to meet the man at the bank, or I'm discussing preparing your children for college, not having money saved up for college, because this becomes a problem. So it's a tip. If you want, you can take it. I went to a bank, and I remember my husband was so busy all the time. I would be the one doing the thing. So I went to the bank to ask. I created an appointment, and they said, you know what? If you want to set up that 529, at that time they said you need to have 5,000 USA dollars. 5,000 will be like 15,000 right now. They said you have to have maybe 10,000. That was which year? Long time ago, like 2000, 2001, like that. So that to have an appointment for someone to set this 529 for you, you have to have 5,000 USA dollars for them to come out. So that's what we did. We had we saved until we had the 5,000, went and set up that 529. I'm telling you, it helped a lot. By the time she was able to go to college, the money was enough. The money was enough to take care of things. But you had to pay, I think it was like 300 every 2 weeks or something like that. So you keep adding up, putting it in, and that's how you can save for college. Right now, you need to look around in your state. If you're looking at me, if you are in USA, check your state. Even check the bank, because they'll tell you the options they have for you to start saving. These are plans that are put together by the government, so you don't pay taxes. You don't pay taxes on this money, okay? So there's that advantage, and it's invested. The money is invested. Now, for you, if you're watching me and you don't have those options, then you're gonna create something. Me growing up, what we did in my country, which was Uganda at that time where I lived, we had a shop. And this shop, when I say shop, it's like store. We put it there. It used to be our dad before he died, just for fees, just for food and for fees. That's all. We didn't do anything with this money. We would sell things, spares actually, motor spares and stuff. And the money was only touched if you are buying food or if you are someone going to school. That's it. And it worked. It works really good. Okay. So figure out a way to create something that creates this money for school fees. The best way, if you are able to do this, if you are watching me, you are like from Uganda. I like to talk about Uganda because that's my original country, but any other place, create something that brings money continuously. That's why you see people create rentals, a rental house, and build it and know, you know what, that's for my children's school fees. So if you die, you die. At least if you leave someone take help to be a guardian for your children, at least they know they're taking care of their children, but at least the money part is covered. You see, that's easier. You can say, I'll take care of your children, but you know the fees is covered. Please, let's do that. That was education. If you are in USA, when you have children, young children, please make sure you talk to someone. If you go to your bank and say, what do they have here, the plan for children, if I'm planning for college, please remember the keyword, baby. You need to start when they are babies. So if you, whenever you have a baby, you create a plan. You don't touch it. You can't touch it anyway. Once you put it, this is a government program. So once you put in the money, you can't go touch it and get it out. Okay? So it's for college. They have some reason when you could touch it, but then it's going to be penalty and stuff. There are rules over there. But I would say, do that. You'll be happy you did. You'll be glad you did. Now, another way would be, like if you can't have like the money. In fact, that's where I'll bring in this idea that I have at the end, where I make passive income, because that's what I'm going to suggest. That if you come, it's called school, and start something and have some passive income, so you could say, I make maybe $500 a month, and it's strictly going to saving for college for my children. Because if you don't do that, let me show you what happens. That's number 2. I have 5 points. 5 points. One is education. If you don't save it, that's the parent to do this. Because if you don't, number 2 is after college. Your children just finished school, but they have a lot of debt. They have a lot of debt, and this debt is going to create issues for them. But if you save that money, it helped them a lot. They'll come out. In fact, for me, my daughter was actually, she did well that the school also sponsored her education. The tuition was paid. So this money was used just for the other expenses. So it was a very good thing. But we had already tried our part, okay? But the school also, she did well. The school paid for her education. So after college, if you don't do these kind of things, the children are going to end up with a lot of debt. And then they're all going to end up with, because they have to buy books, they're going to buy maybe credit card on credit card. So they're like loaded with debt. And if they have debt, then they can't buy a house, they can't buy a car. The American system is set up weird. It goes by credit scores. So if they have a bad credit score, if you're borrowing, and then if you are the kind of person like Muslims like me who don't believe in borrowing, now you have a different kind set of issues. You have to have a lot of cash. A lot of cash, you pay college in cash, they finish school. Maybe you're at an advantage. You already know what to do because you are using cash. You don't believe in borrowing. So you better save it. And then if you take it to the next level, if you're Muslim, you might say, I don't like those 529 plans because they add interest, because the money is invested, right? Then you have to figure out a way you save it yourself and invest it yourself in something you believe in, okay? If you don't believe in this kind of thing that invest the money, okay? So, but you can invest in ways that are halal too. Because if you go and invest in a company, I would think about a company like Home Depot. Home Depot didn't pay me to talk about Home Depot. But because you're just investing in a company, the money, so they just make dividends for you. Every single day they send you dividends. That's halal money. So you can invest it like that. You can say, let's put this money in this company, and the shares, as they grow, they grow. Then when the child is about to go to college, we sell and get out the cash. So there are many ways you can have your money in a halal way. Okay? Or you save it, you buy a house, and it's right there. People are renting it. If you have the money to buy a house cash, you rent people to people and they pay for this. There are many ways. The whole thing is to think about it while the babies are young. Okay? So if you don't do that, they'll have to face the consequences. It will be on the children now. They have debt and it's hard to start out in the life. So number 3 is the family. Now the family. The family needs emergency fund, emergency money. Remember those stories I told? Some of you came later. The stories. Oh, we have VJ Murad, where are you? Thank you for sorry, I didn't see you. didn't say. I was focused on what I'm saying. Welcome, welcome. Where are you? Welcome. This thing that's so important, my friend. And don't leave until you connected with me. Please connect with me since you chatted. When you chat, I give you a gift. Let me show you the gift I'm giving you, VJ. This is the gift. Yeah, this is a gift for me. Yeah, I invite you to my community. Click on that and come join me so you can connect with me, connect with you on Zoom. If that's what you want, that's for you. Okay, let's go back to the topic. Family. If you have a family, some of you watching me just got married, maybe you already have a family, you already gone through these issues. We've gone through the issues. I'm 58, so I've gone through the issues. You need an emergency fund, emergency money. And when I was researching here, they call emergency money as money for fixing a car, fixing this. Actually, I don't think so. The fixing the car needs to be in the budget, the normal budget. That you expect the car to break down if you're driving an old car. If you're driving a new car, it doesn't break down. You just go for service, oil change and stuff. But if you're driving an old car, when I talk about emergency money, I don't mean it's for fixing the cars. It needs to be in your budget already. That you know what? This car is old. So let's factor in maybe $500 a month for when it breaks down. That needs to be right on your savings in the like what could be immediately spent. But when you talk about the your emergency money, I'm talking about the money that you don't touch. You don't touch unless you lost a job, unless like something big happens. Okay? So when you call it emergency fund, separate it out, create maybe a separate account for it, automate it, and let it go there. And like don't even think about it unless that real emergency happens. Now that's better. That's good planning because when something happened, for example, I had a story here where the guy, in America, some people drive trucks, like other business, right? And the man got in an accident and he died. But he had a wife and children. The wife was not working. In America, it's common for some people to say the woman shouldn't work because it's very, very expensive for daycare, right? Some people just don't believe in their children going to daycare centers. So especially Muslims, they have their children at home and the mother is with the children. Now the guy died. And those truckers, the people who drive trucks, they make good money. He died, there's nothing. So which means if he saved what I call the emergency fund, they used to say 6 months. Now they say, maybe 8 months. At least, as the wife is crying,